Welcome to Royally Unhinged, the podcast where we talk all things marketing, networking, and wizardry. It's everything you need to know and didn't know you needed to know. I'm your co-host, Princess Paula,
with Tara B.
And together we are Royally Unhinged. Welcome, friends. All right, welcome to episode 3. Tres. We're so glad you're here today, and we're so glad you're sticking along with us, because once again, we're going to talk a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we'll probably go off the rails at some point, but that's what makes it fun. All right, today, we're going to start things off with the Ferrari story. So anyone who's ever heard my networking keynote, I tell this story, but I tried to share this story as much as possible because it was super, super helpful for me in my business. Maybe it'll be helpful for you out in the old, listening land.
Land of
YouTube,
business.
Wherever
or
you're watching this.
Even if you're not a business owner. It's a good story.
It is. Okay, so once upon a time, gather round.
The campfire.
Get
your hot chocolate.
I was going to say, get your beverage. Come in close. Take a sip. Okay, so I started Princess Paula back in 2023. And when I first started the business, I was really scared and nervous that I would get no customers. And I can remember when I was figuring out what it was I was going to be doing, how I was going to try and make some money. And I'd be sitting in my home office thinking, no one's going to want to work with me. Like, I'm going to have no customers. And I was really getting in my head, right? We all know about imposter syndrome. That's a thing we hear a lot about now. And I was kind of getting down on myself. I was really worried. And so one day, my husband came to me, and he was the Nexus? No, that's where things come together. He was the birthplace. What's it called? Where something comes from. The origin.
The origin stories.
He was the origin of the Ferrari story. So he sees me lamenting in my sad state, and he says, Paula, you are a Ferrari. And I was like, oh, do tell. And he said, you are a Ferrari. You burn really fast. You got great curves, and you're kind of hard to handle. But those who love a Ferrari are going to love you. Because you are a Ferrari. But he said, not everyone likes a Ferrari. Some people prefer a Bugatti. Some people are more of a Porsche, maybe even a Corvette. And those are not your people. And they're not going to love you. They're just not going to love you because those are the cars that they like. But there are a lot of people who like a Ferrari, and those are your people, and they're going to love you. And it stopped me dead in my tracks. And I realized, okay, a Ferrari is an awesome car. It is fast. It's a beautiful car. It's really great. But yeah, not everybody wants to drive a Ferrari. But the people that like a Ferrari, they love a Ferrari.
What car am I?
Okay, everyone needs to pause and take a minute and be like, ooh.
And it's not just the car you drive, because the car you drive doesn't necessarily
represent
say who you are.
So,
but
as you're thinking about that, and friends watching, listening, I want you to think about that, because Matt ended up going and getting me a model car. So I have a model red Ferrari that sits on my desk.
I love that.
So I see it every day. So when I'm having those moments, because we have those moments all day long, whether you're a small business owner, a large business owner, whatever you're doing, there's always points during your day, during your week, where you start doubting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And you think, I'm not good at this. Nobody's going to like me. They're not going to want to work with me. My boss isn't going to like me, whatever it is. And so I keep that Ferrari on my desk, because there's often times during the week where I think, what am I doing? What am I doing?
I ask myself that every day.
How am I gonna keep going? Where's my next customer gonna come from? Right? Where all the things. And then I look at that car and I think, but not everyone is my person, my customer.
Yeah. So
we're gonna just pause here for a minute. Thoughts, comments. Besides what kind of car you are.
I'm just trying to figure out what kind of car I am still.
Do we need to take a field trip to a car place?
Maybe. I want to say my Expedition, but that's...
Oh! Yeah. Powerful. Expensive. Everybody wants you. But no one can afford you.
No.
Well, yeah, and
Maybe.
it doesn't have to be
Well,
that
yeah.
literal. It can just
No,
be
it
the
doesn't.
example of like, you know,
Whatever it is.
yeah. And so this is really important because there's a lot of comparison in the work world.
It is so. I don't want to go too far into it because there's abundance mentality, people. There's abundance mentality so much. And this is why Paul and I work so well together.
Indeed.
Like, and this kind of goes way back even to our origin of like our nexus of when
I gotta be, because I was jealous of you when we first met. So I just need to put that out there. You guys need to know. And I don't know that I've ever admitted this to Tara.
No,
Because
this is news.
When you're seeing live reaction. Because when we first met, we met at a networking group and we both were at one of the first women in business meetings.
Yeah.
And I remember like first meeting you and I was like,
Wasn't the one that you were talking at?
Oh, well, it could have been.
It was one of the first ones before when you started doing like AI stuff.
Yeah, it was even before then because I would have done networking speaking stuff before AI stuff. So it was like years ago. And I remember we were both there and we both do the same thing. And I used to be, imposter, insecure, whatever. I didn't have abundance mentality. I had take down your competition mentality. Take them out of the knees. And when you were in the room and it was this feeling of, oh no, there's competition in the room.
Yeah.
How can I take her down or be better than her? Which is dumb, but we do it.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, sorry, that was a rude cutoff.
No, I don't even remember where we were.
Abundance mentality.
Well, no, and it's abundance mentality. No, but it's, and I used to be subject to that too. Like, and we're human. We are all human. So even sometimes still, I get to that point that I see other people in the room that do the same thing. But it's really just being humbled with yourself and really just like, it's okay that there's other people that do the same thing that I do. Again, not everyone is going to want a Ferrari.
Oh, okay, that's just it. That's so good because I can sit here and see you as an expedition and be like, oh, she's an expedition. That's better than I am. No, it's just different than I am.
It's different.
And there are some people that will like either. They could be like, yeah, I'll take a Ferrari or an expedition. It's fine. But there are some people that will say, I only want a Ferrari. I only want an expedition.
Yeah.
So that's why it's good to have choice.
Well, and even with that, and this holds true, I put out a video not long ago because actually somebody that I started working with recently also, he's in the same field that I am. So he does ASMR.
Every time.
So he does, websites, social media. He does all that stuff. He does it differently than I do, though. And he does not focus on WordPress. I do. Mm-hmm. So a while ago, I had a client and he actually ended up, which was totally fine. Me and the client, it just didn't work out for whatever reason, timing wise or whatever. And he ended up taking her on, which is fantastic because he's got the capacity to take that on right now. So over that, again, vulnerable. This podcast is brought to you by vulnerability. Word of the day. Vulnerability.
Word of the day. Word of the day. Podcast word of the day.
But when I lost that client, and I didn't lose a client, but it just didn't work out. And I realize that now, but when it happened, I was like, I lost that client. And I was really upset with myself. I was pissed off. I was like, what does this person have that I didn't? And it really made me mad. And as like time just went by, like randomly I started seeing my competitor just start going to different things, getting involved with different things I was doing. And I was like, you know what? We just need to Tara, just stop being upset with yourself. And this is where it came from because I'm like, there is a perfect client for everybody. There is a not perfect client for everybody. You need to also think about your mentality, your mental space too. I'm jumping to another example because I had a client years ago. I've known them for a really long time and they were doing some transitioning internally and we started not being a good fit anymore. And it was fine. It was totally fine. Their business was evolving. My business was evolving, and it didn't go in that direction. So they left. They went to another competitor of mine. And there was like, when that happened, there was a sense of relief that actually came out.
Yeah.
Because with how high maintenance that client was.
It was me.
She wishes. But with how high maintenance that client was, it was like not worth my mental downfall. Like I would stay up late just like.
Okay, but that's interesting that tension that was existing because you didn't want the yucky feelings necessarily of them leaving and saying I don't want to work with you, but working with them wasn't enjoyable.
No, it was yucky both ways. Like it was yucky. Like in the beginning, it was great, and then just as we were transitioning, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. That's what business is. We all evolve. We all start at one point.
And we've all been on either side of the counter, so to speak, where we've been the customer and you start working with someone and then suddenly you're like, I don't want to work with this person anymore.
Yeah.
Or you're the business owner and you have a client and you're kind of going, this relationship isn't working anymore.
Yeah. And that's okay. You're not everyone's Ferrari.
Okay. And this is so good. So as you're talking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so good. Good thing you clued into this episode today. Gracious, I need caffeine. So when you think about this, if you've spent more than 5 minutes with me, more than 5 minutes at any time in life, there's going to be an analogy. So just grab your journal and take notes. So with cars, all cars have some of the basic things. They all have 4 wheels.
Yes.
All of them have 4 wheels. All of them have an engine.
Unless it's like one of those T-Rex things.
No clue what she's talking about.
Then it's a 3-wheel.
That's not a car. It's a trike.
Okay.
So 4 wheels, they all have a steering wheel. They will all have an engine. Mm-hmm. Might run on different things, but they all have an engine. So there's some things that all cars have the same, that they do the same. Stick with me. I'm bringing home the point. But they're going to be different in color, in what they're made out of, how big they are, how many cylinders they are, what kind of inside and the interior. If you're like me, I don't like a car that does everything for me. I like to be able to control things still and where it doesn't let you out or start the car or whatever because it talks to you too much. Some people love that.
I love this analogy where it is right now.
And so this is so key because as we set up businesses, and even for Tara and I, who are in the same industry, and how we do things and kind of what we do is different. So we both have 4 wheels and an engine and a steering wheel and a roof. Don't always have sides. I see you, Jeep people. You don't always have sides, but you have a lot of the same things. But people fall in love with something because of either its unique selling point, your USP, my sparkly boots.
Sparkly boots.
My USP. And so it's so important to remember that when the people that find us that are like, I've been looking for this vehicle, this is exactly what I've wanted. And other people go, let me take it for a test drive. And after a test drive, they're like, turns out you're not really what I'm looking for. Now, this does not excuse the people who you send a proposal to and they ghost you. You know who you are. Please don't do that. That's like saying, I would like to buy a car. Then you just disappear.
And well, it's like the people on Facebook Marketplace or whatever.
Is this available?
Yes.
Crickets.
I can't do a cricket voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would.
And yeah, just as I'm listening to you talk about this, I think this is so good because it doesn't matter if you're the business owner, you're the employee, who you are. You just have to understand I'm not the car for everybody.
No. And I want to go back because when Paula just said like she was like threatened by me and I'm going to tell you all, and she's never heard this either. This is not scripted. It was the same. It was the same. And
I didn't even like being in the room with you because I would get so nervous. I would get nervous and I'd be like, crap. Because when it was time to do commercials, and I was like, what's Tara going to talk about? I don't want to talk about the same thing, and I don't want to one-up her, but I want people to think that I'm as good at shit. Like, so much inferiority and imposter syndrome.
it just happens. And now look at us. We have a podcast together, and we're like BFFs. And our wonderful Cottage Grove Area Chamber of Commerce, Lori.
Hashtag. is
Loves
taking
it
all the
when they
credit.
get together.
She's taking all the credit. She's like, if it wasn't for me in my chamber. She's not wrong, by the way.
She's not.
See you, Lori. We see you. But she's just like, tell more people. Yes.
And it's just opening up your network too. And again, it comes back to, which I think the majority of people that might be listening to this know, that I have 2 little kids and I have this full-time business and I have another side business that I do. And my husband just started another side. So like, I don't have a lot of time. So really thinking about capacity of what you can even take on and not burning out. Like that's a huge thing too. So like making those referral partners and those connections. So when you can't, they can.
Okay, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of I'm listening to you, analogy. I'm thinking of when someone tries to bring a mattress home and they tie it to the top of their car. Because they really can't, they don't have the vehicle for
I'm
carrying
thinking
that.
of the minivan in Cars.
Like,
Where it's like,
like, if you have a vehicle that can actually carry, like our Suburban or whatever SUV can carry a full sheet of plywood in it. Mm-hmm. Not all vehicles can, because you were talking about capacity.
Yeah.
And this is why it's important, because all cars are different. All businesses are different.
Yeah.
So even though someone might be in the marketing space, and there's 50 million other people in the marketing space, but we all do something a little bit different, and our capacity is different. So you have to have other people in your industry to share with, to really learn from.
Well, and that's even to the point of originally when I was talking about that one client that started working with one of my competitors that I had 2 stories. But the first one I was talking about, him and I are actually working together on a project right now.
Really?
Because he does not focus on WordPress stuff. So I do focus on WordPress stuff. So we just had a meeting yesterday with his client to redo the website and all of this stuff. But it's also, I'm at a spot where I don't, whatever. But after, we get the website going and redone and all that stuff, I'm going to be doing like some just minimum training with my competitor to show him how to use WordPress. Because it's great that he brought me in. I'm getting a little something for the job of rebuilding it. It's his client, so I'm being used. No, I'm not being used. But just don't be a bum face. Just like,
don't be, if you're taking notes at home, don't be a bum face. Hopefully that'll be superimposed on the screen.
Bum face right here.
We're going to take a moment for a word from our sponsor. Just kidding. But normally we would here. But if you want to be a sponsor on the Royally Unhinged podcast, just know this would be an opportune place for us to talk about you, your business, your product, your upcoming special, your pets.
Whatever you got.
So if you are someone that owns a business, works for a business, is in business, likes to tell people their business, we would love for you to be a sponsor.
And we do have a couple sponsors that will be coming out on the podcast here soon, especially at the Woodbury Expo.
Oh, do tell. What is that?
We will be at the Woodbury Expo, Community Expo.
And where is it?
It is at Woodbury High School in Woodbury, Minnesota.
There we go.
On April 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
We'll be live in person. You can please don't
slap
touch us. Yeah, please don't touch us. Do not come up and touch us, because that's weird.
Unless we know you and you want a hug or something, then that's okay.
$5.
8 for me.
That's how we're. Oh, see, her unique. That's what happens when you're an expedition. It's a lot more money.
Expedition Max, by the way.
I'm still just a Ferrari.
Anyways, but come to the Woodbury Expo. We have some great sponsors that are actually going to be there. We're going to be recording live with them. We have Tim Voigt. He'll be there. We have Matthew Deary with Added Element. We have Amber and Pat with Board and Brush. Mm-hmm. And we have...
Oh, that girl, Brianne Rehab with that girl, Brie.
You. Yes.
Maybe she'll bring cheese.
Ooh, we might have cheese.
Some live cheese sampling. Come by the booth and have some cheese. You can have your cheese and eat it too.
I like cheese.
And then at the end of the month, we will be at at the end of April, we'll be at the New Richmond, Wisconsin. They have a big women's expo at the end of the month, like the 28th, 29th. So we'll be live at that one as well. And you can come and see us there, come and chat. And we will probably have like a little something set up, like a camera where you can leave a message. We might have a question where you can tell us your thoughts.
We might be walking around the entire thing and interviewing people.
You never know. It might be like a Where's Waldo.
It's Royally Unhinged. You never know what you're going to get, man.
I feel like moving forward, since if you haven't caught on yet, the whole wizardry part of this podcast is Harry Potter reference. If you really haven't, stop.
If you haven't.
Pause if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, this is going to make absolutely no sense whatsoever. But if you are watching this, on the wall behind us is a lovely wallpaper, and I would encourage you to pause the video and zoom in, because this is actually the map from Harry Potter.
Marauders map.
That thing. So I feel like moving forward, we always need to have a little, did you know, Harry Potter,
Mike Posner,
wizardry reference to how, like, it's a lot like in Harry Potter how we could like bring in a, you know, this reminds me, who's calling me? Oh, my watch started ringing.
I might edit this out. I might not, because that's how unhinged we get.
Okay, back on track. So thank you. That was a word from our sponsor. So back to the podcast. I think this is also really good because you might not always agree with how your competitor, no, we're not going to call him that, how your other
business acquaintance
does business. And I want to take a moment to talk about this.
Yes.
Because there will be times, friends, when you're at a networking meeting, you're at an event, maybe you're at a person's business, maybe you're at somewhere, and there's you're talking, and they start telling you, "I'm at an event," and I start talking to someone. They say, "Yeah, we used to work with this gal named Tara. Have you heard of her before? She was terrible.
Tara the terrible.
She was like lousy." Now, bad-mouthing your competition, even though you can understand that you do it differently. I'm a Ferrari, she's an Expedition. We don't have to be the same car. We don't do things the same way, and that's fine. It takes all kinds.
It does take all kinds.
Do not bad-mouth your competition in person. Don't do it.
No, you never, well, first of all, you just never know when it's going to come back around.
Preach.
That's like a huge thing. But also, it makes you look slimy. And the best piece of advice that I think I could even give about that is don't badmouth them. Just talk about how awesome you are and what makes you stand out. Because that little piece of what makes you stand out could be the deciding factor of whether they buy or get a service from you or whatever it is. And it resonates with them. And this is really why I love working with one of my clients so much. Well, I love working with all my clients, but
except for Paula.
But one of my clients, he is a sales coach and he does a lot of public speaking and all of that stuff. And what he really preaches is authenticity, but being personable. And he's in the roofing industry. So roofing industry, don't make fun of me how I'm saying it. She's going to make fun of me.
Every single time.
I just have to stop talking about roofing.
Roof.
Whatever.
How do you say milk?
Milk.
Milk? Yeah, see, you're like me.
Is there a weird way that you say it?
M-I-L-K. We say it the same way. We say milk, which is basically like M-E-L-K. Most people say milk.
Milk?
Like, it's M-I-L-K. I can't even do it.
How do you say boat?
Boat.
Okay.
Nice try.
Boat.
This Canadian's not going to fall for that one. Okay.
Okay, but anyways.
Roofing.
So it's really, you have an issue with just that industry in general, that it's the storm chasers, it's the whatever, you get somebody from all the way over in California or something that's coming to Minnesota, Wisconsin, so they can be a sales rep and all that stuff. So it's a very saturated industry in general. So how do you close that sale? And it's being personable. It's finding something that you can talk with them about.
Yeah.
It's making that connection. And that's exactly what the whole thing about you say what sets you apart. And this is what I go through with my clients when I do my strategy, my initial consult with them. I go through my worksheet and I ask, what are your strengths? What stands you apart from your competition? Because that's what you need to play on.
Mm-hmm.
So don't downplay, don't be a bum face and be mean to other
Wow. If you're taking notes.
bum face.
Okay, I just absolutely love this, Tara, because on my way here today, driving to the studio today, I pulled up to a stoplight and a truck pulled up beside me, like a delivery truck, and it was for some food, like real food, produce food. And I looked at the logo and the branding on the side of the truck, and I thought, okay, why did that person decide to start that company? Surely there was plenty of produce suppliers already out there, and they could have just joined an existing produce supplier, but someone had to say, no, I want to start my own company, because even though there's all these produce supply companies, I want to do it slightly differently than any of them out there. I want to make this one aspect differently, and because of that, I'm going to start my own company. And everyone is the same. Whatever company you either own or work for, there's a whole bunch of other companies that do the exact same thing. But there's something different, unique, slightly, whatever. And that's what's going to make you different. But
there's that golden snitch. There's
there we go.
Harry Potter reference for you.
I'm tracking.
Sorry, I interrupted her. Just popped into my mind.
Don't be a bum face. So, but the point is, you might not perhaps there's a way that Tara does something. We both do Google business stuff. We have a lot of crossover, and there might be a way she does something. The way she does it. The way she does something where I'm kind of going, I wouldn't do it that way, because that's I wouldn't do it that way. But I'm not going to call her out in public, but I won't do that. I mean, I might tell my husband.
And then she'll probably just text me and be
Tara's
like,
a total
I was
bum face.
just calling you out in public.
And that's going to happen. And, how you handle that, because people are always going to come up to you and say, well, I was talking to so-and-so, and they said I should do my SEO. They said my website should be blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
and they're going to watch
other...
you. They're going to watch for your reaction. They're going to see what you're going to do. And you can just say, well, yeah, that's one way of doing it. Here's how I choose to do it. Instead of you can say well, they're dumb, and why would you go with them? And that's archaic. And that, don't badmouth your competition or other people in the industry. You can acknowledge it, be professional, be kind, be mature, because that's going to reflect on your business. Some of the best marketing you could ever do for yourself, because as soon as people see that you badmouth others, you will lose any potential to work with people.
You'll lose that potential, and that's not great that you're losing business that way, and you're just making a reputation for yourself that you're just the one that goes around and just says how horrible everybody is. But even with not bad-mouthing them, but take in what they're saying, educate yourself on what they're saying too, learn from that. Because there's a lot of stuff that I've actually learned from Paula about certain things that I knew how to do, or I knew that there was a way to do it or whatever, but just in conversation we find it's just there's a different way of doing it that could be easier or something. And it's learning from others that they have knowledge too. They educated themselves too. They talked to other people that you might not have talked to and learned A, B, and C from them as well. So it's really...
It doesn't mean that you stop being who you are.
No, still do what you're doing.
Be, but you can add to your repertoire.
You can add it, or again, form a referral partner. If that's something that you don't want to focus your time on, this is what I'm going through with my business coach right now. Just what can we give somebody else, or what don't you want to focus on? We want to focus on A, B, and C. Okay, let's do that. Let's offshoot all of this other stuff. What's a good partnership that you have that you can do that? Well, I have somebody right here that I might be able to send that off to. So it's don't dismiss I'm going to say competition. Don't dismiss the competition. Learn from the competition. Don't say that the competition.
Befriend your competition.
And it's not, make your enemy your friend or whatever it is.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
well, it's kind of like that. But also it's just like being a good human. Just be a good human.
Be a good human. Well, because we can have differing opinions. The way Tara might do, a website is going to be different. Well, I don't do them. But the point is, we might do it differently. And that's okay because I'm a Ferrari and she's an Expedition. And an Expedition is awesome. And people love Expeditions because of their USP, because of their unique selling point. And people love Ferraris because of it being a Ferrari. And I especially see that in the speaking world as a professional speaker.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many speakers and everybody's different. And everyone has a different kind of energy, a different way they deliver, a different way they do things. And yes, I'm going to learn from all of them and take something from them. But I'm going to, at the end of the day, note to self, silence your phone.
I'm leaving this in.
Yeah, that's... You see, only a Ferrari would be like going down the road at a million miles an hour.
Only a Ferrari would drive all the way to the studio across border lines during a snowstorm.
No, it's because I'm Canadian and I just hooked up the dog sled and away we went. Like, what's a little bit of snow? Actually, there was a lot of snow, but... what you don't know won't hurt you till you're on the road. So anyhoodly, I take the Ferrari story with me all the time. I look at that Ferrari on my desk all the time because there are still days where I just think, is anyone going to work with me? Will I get any more customers? And then I go out and I be my Ferrari self and the people love me and there's always some that don't, and that's okay.
Good things come to good mentalities and good, what's the word that I want to say? Good intentions, good...
No clue. You're on your own with this one.
Just be a good human.
There you go. I also just want to wrap up with this and kind of end with this. So as we were talking today, I was taking notes besides don't be a bum face. And that is... Do you know your brand? So as we say, what kind of car are you? What makes you unique? What's your, your standout feature? What's your brand? Whether you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or you're working for a company, representing a company, or even just if you have a side hustle and a side gig or something you're trying to do, do you know your brand?
And do you know what a brand is?
So do you know what kind of car you are? And if you are, I know I am a red Ferrari, shiny red Ferrari, gorgeous.
Do you have a lift kit on it?
Okay.
Shocks?
I have no...
Hydraulics?
Whatever the best is, that's me. And my speedometer's in kilometers. Because I'm Canadian.
That's
but
where we live.
Just kind of knowing what your brand is and what makes you ideal, because then when you meet a potential client, you'll know if they're your people.
Yeah.
And when you start talking to someone, you can say, hey, I love that idea. I love what you're doing. I'm not your person.
Yeah.
Okay, best example ever. Anyone that's ever watched the classic Christmas movie.
Oh no, I probably haven't watched it and you're going to yell at me again.
For the love, Tara.
She remembers.
Yeah. Santa, black and white. Oh my gosh, Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. You knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Tara is one of these weirdo people. There's all these Christmas movies she hasn't seen. And my husband and I are Santa and Mrs. Claus. Sorry, spoiler. If there's children in the car, turn this down. We're Santa's
Turn
helpers.
it down before. That was just rude.
Anyway, we had a whole conversation about Christmas movies that she hasn't seen. And it's just amazing that we're still friends. But
Sad.
Miracle on 30... The one where... Anyway, it's the classic one where... Macy's, where in the Macy's Day Parade, the Santa and the Macy's Day Parade. So they're looking for the toy. Macy's doesn't have it, sends them over to Gimbel's department store to get it. And that's super important because I have people come to me all the time saying, Paul, I want to work with you. Can you help me with this? And I can say, no, actually I can't. That's not my specialty. I'm not going to figure out how to do it just to keep you as a client so I can put your money in my pocket. But here's some other people I know that can do it for you. Because I know what my brand is, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I do, and I know what I don't do.
Well, and this is kind of a testament just again with how well Paul and I work together and
What's that called?
Being competitors initially. And it goes both ways. So not only does she refer business to me because she doesn't focus on that, she doesn't want to learn how to do it, like that's great.
Word.
But same thing here. I had somebody that came to me and they're like, hey, I saw you at this thing. I liked what you were saying. Like, I wanted to talk to you. So I had that initial meeting and it was like, they just wanted a consultation. That's not even how you say that phonetically. Consultation. About social media stuff. And I'm like, that's not me. I don't consult on that. It's not that I just like, I more do the work instead of telling people themselves how to do the work, which I was like, this is perfect for me to send off to Paula because that's what she did at the time. That's what she was focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
So look how that just came full around.
Hell yeah.
Started off as competitors, abundance mentality, referral partners, friends, podcast. I mean,
love it. Okay, just for the reference, it was Miracle on 34th Street. It's a 1947 film. So
directed, blah, 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 blah.
You can go and watch it anytime. You don't have to wait until Christmas because there's just it's such a good example all the time that when your customers and your clients want something, rather than either turning them away or acting like you can help them when you really can't, finding out this is part of building your network, which is a great lead in until our next episode on networking, is when you build a referral network and you have people in your network, then you're able to say, I don't do that thing, but let me introduce you to someone in my network who does.
Yeah.
And I had that happen this week. I was speaking yesterday at an event and I had people asking me about all kinds of things. And I said, I'm not your gal, but I know someone who is. And now I'm busy making more introductions, which is fine. It's totally fine.
But then you get the credit too, that you actually connected them with an awesome person.
That's right. ASMR. So, final thoughts? Do we have a Harry Potter?
Don't be a bum face.
But be vulnerable. And then you'll have a lot of clout. We're going to have a running list. We need a running list on our website. We need to have a page on the website that's
all of our words
to know. Word of the day. And then we'll just get shirts that say, for the love. I need to silence my... Oh, now I'm popular. Okay, with that, clearly...
Popular. You're gonna be popular.
All right, so go figure out what kind of car you are. Buy yourself a little Hot Wheel or a bigger
I want to know
car. I
want to know.
Drop a comment, shoot us a line. Let us know what kind of car you are.
Corey War.
Yeah. We'll have to get you a car so that when we're doing a live podcast, we can have them sitting out with the crown.
I'm wondering.
Let's pay tribute to, if you're listening to this right now, you have no idea what we're doing. And this
then
is
hop
gonna
over to
make
YouTube
sense.
so you can watch it.
Yes, but here on our podcast set, we do have a little Royal Crown candy dish, and we now have a gold top hat for...
A dapper top hat.
Because I am Princess Paula with Princess Paula Consulting.
Terrifier with Dapper Dog Marketing.
So embarrassing. My gosh.
You're popular.
Oh, heavens. All right.
Gonna be
Join us next time when we're going to talk more about networking and how it's not just something boomers do and why you need to do it too. And who knows what else we're going to sneak in there.
You never know.
And also be watching and listening because we're going to start introducing some of our amazing sponsors who want to be a part of all things Royally Unhinged.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm Princess Paula.
I'm Tara B.
And together we are Royally Unhinged. Peace out.
Ding, ding. Ding, ding.